Hello everyone, welcome to Carmen. You join me in Shanghai, it is my home city here. And today I've got a MG4, a car that everyone knows. Or do you? And yes, this is the new shape MG4, at least for our viewers outside China. Well, I'm sure our Chinese viewers have seen it quite a lot. Over 37,000 units have been sold in the past 3 months. And in this video, I'm going to tell you what's new on this new model. Is it better or worse? And most importantly, is it right for you and your family? Let's start with design first, and straight away you could tell that this new model has followed MG's updated design language. You've got this new full LED headlights, which is standard, and those side vents and grille that just looks almost identical to the MG Cyberster, which I think is a good thing because it adds more stronger design identity to the brand. And of course, compared to the current model, it is more rounded and less aggressive. And to the side, we've got proper door handles, which I think is just better. And similarly at the back, the rear lights are still arrow shape, which is not from the Union Jack, but now they're being placed properly. So the back of the car won't look like a huge traffic sign anymore. So overall, really, compared to the last model, the car is less sporty, less aggressive, of course, but it's still quite sleek, and most importantly, it doesn't look that cheap. The even bigger changes are here inside the cabin. Now you've got a quite modern layout of 2 separate screens, which is becoming standard across almost every single new car. And the cabin feels quite simple, quite neat, but nothing flashy, nothing beeping at you, nothing unnecessary. Everything you actually need is here. And the material, well, most of the places that you could see and you could feel is soft material, not feeling plasticky at all. So the surrounding feels surprisingly premium, and which I think is important because once this car launched in the UK or in the EU, it's going to embarrass a lot of other cars within this price range. There are 5 trim levels available in China. I'm gonna need my phone for display. The top spec comes with almost everything. It's got full electric seats, heated and ventilated, heated steering wheel, the glass sunroof, the 360 camera, and the L2 level driving assistant. Today, I'm driving the second cheapest model. It has the electric seats for me, for the driver, the 360 camera, the automatic climate control, those full LED headlights, and only costs around 77,000 Chinese yuan before all the subsidies. So yes, it is much cheaper than the ID.3. And one thing I'd like to praise MG for are the physical controls. You've got a real door handle, let's say, and the buttons to control the door mirrors. And even those air vents are hidden, you still got a little stick to control where the air blows. You've got physical controls for the important hazard warning and the climate control, and a proper gear lever that you could pull. I'm not sure what's going on with new cars, but as human, we need physical control. For a car this size, the new MG4 has got a very long wheelbase at 2750mm. It's slightly shorter than the ID.3, but it doesn't compromise the rear space. I'm 5'7", it is my driving position in the front. I don't even have to measure it. Plenty of legroom and the headroom. And also there are decent storage throughout the whole cabin. Or I should put it this way, this space is good enough for the Chinese market, leave alone the UK or EU market. It would definitely be the class leading, and it could easily carry a family of 3. At this point, some viewers might be thinking, oh, you forgot to mention the boot space. But no, I haven't. We'll get to that later. But first, I want to talk about powertrain. So the battery options include a 43 or 54 kWh FP battery, and there is a semi-solid state version as well. So making this vehicle one of the first production cars to do so. And power, this is a single motor setup only, producing 160 horsepower and 250 Nm of torque, which is not bad at all. It's a very good figure. But the motor is put in here, so it's front wheel drive only. Plus, it is now torsion beam suspension at the back, so unfortunately no, unlike the current model, it is no longer a driving focused whole hatchback. It is now very clearly positioned as a family-focused city driving hatchback. I'll be honest, this combination means the handling is compromised for sure. Well, firstly, it's a bit bouncy in here, especially through bigger bumps and potholes. You'll get that front to land first, but after 2 or 3 seconds, you'll get that bouncy feeling from the rear. Same problem when switching lanes quite fast, you don't really get that support from the rear suspensions. And all of that is made worse by this seating position. I'm sitting very high up, but you probably wouldn't tell from the video. This is more like a SUV seating position, well, which doesn't inspire driving confidence when cornering hard. Secondly is the steering. Well, the steering rack is quite fast and very responsive through the middle 20-degree section, but after that it suddenly becomes very vague even in sports mode, so you have to guess the steering input. And the brakes, the brake pedal feels okay, it's beyond average I think, but firstly the pedal journey is too long. The first 1/3 of the journey didn't give you anything, and secondly there is a soft stop function, but it makes absolutely no difference. You get that nodding effect every time you try to stop. At 4.4 meters long, it isn't particularly small. In fact, it's same as the Mini Countryman, so really it's the size as a small SUV. But luckily, it is still narrow enough to go through the old streets and the tiny gaps, so it is relatively easy to drive in the city. And acceleration from 0 to 100 kph takes around 7.2 seconds, and 0 to 50 feels very punchy, no matter which driving mode you're in. So off the line, this car is very quick. But once you go beyond 100 kph, the power feels a little bit feeble. So the motorway overtakes take some planning ahead, and you'll get that wind noise from the A-pillar and the door mirrors as well. But it is a cheap small car, so that's inevitable. So overall, it's better than I thought. But then again, because the position of this car has changed, it's completely different from the previous model, so I have to change my mindset accordingly. Other than the lower spec, you get the 360 camera as standard, which means every time you indicate, there will be a pop-up image through the side cameras to help you check the blind spot. It is a very good function, but that means the door mirrors are too small and your visibility through them are very limited. And as I mentioned earlier, the higher specs would come with the 12 radars and the L2 level driving assistance and the remote parking function through your mobile app. Well, for that, I'm sure you've heard this somewhere else, but if you struggle to park a car this size just for the sake for yourself and other road users, might as well consider give up driving. There will be other self-driving cars available, and they are called taxi. And yes, this is just to demonstrate how big the boot is. It's absolutely enormous. If anything, you could always fold down those back seats for bigger room. And this electric tailgate is standard other than the lower spec. And now it's time to review the real-world consumption and the range of this car. I've driven it for 3 days on motorways, on quick roads, city driving and congestions, and this is the last trip that I made. It's about 50 kilometers, and this consumption I think is totally acceptable, especially it is winter now in Shanghai. So yeah, this is the total range this car has done. So really, in winter for me at least, I could do 340, 350 kilometers full charge. And this is the small battery version. You could get more range from the bigger 54 kilowatt hour. Now, you'll join me in one of the typical charging stations in Shanghai. And for our viewers outside China, you might be wondering how's the charging experience here. Well, here's some figures for you. In Shanghai, we have a population of around 25 million. That's about 1/3 of the UK, with over 85,000 charging facilities, whether it's public or private, across Shanghai. But unfortunately, that's about the same number across the entire UK. That's one thing. The other thing is cost. I'm charging at daytime. I had no choice. So the price will be much expensive, around 1.4, 1.5 Chinese yuan per kilowatt hour. But if you could charge during off-peak hour, That's usually less than 1 Chinese yuan per kilowatt hour, so it's much cheaper. So yeah, as you should imagine, the charging experience here in Shanghai is much cheaper, much convenient. Well, since we're waiting now, I might as well talk you through my dislikes. First of all, still the seating position. You can see probably more clearly now, it is driving a small SUV, which I really don't like. The door mirrors are too small, and the charging port placement is in the front, slightly awkward in China because no one would put the head in when parking. And lastly, yes, the speaker system. It is a 6-speaker system. It just isn't good enough. This new MG4, it isn't built to impress everyone, but if you're looking for a smart, modern, affordable family EV, this might actually be one of the best options available right now or soon. Well, it is critical for me to judge this car with its price in mind because it's just so cheap in China, at least in China. I'm sure the price will vary accordingly in the EU, UK market. So let me know what you think about this new MG4. Would you consider one? Or would you buy one straight away? Many thanks for watching. This is Carmen. I'll see you soon.